bless you all that are watching via social media. I guess we'll be starting the countdown here in just a second.
I'm about to count you in.
About to count me in.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2.
God bless you. Welcome to the Stephen Smith Show. It's so great to be in front of you on another week. So great to be able to be seen on another week. A couple things I'd like to get out of the way. I usually use this as a prelude to the show. I would like, again, condolences to the family of Byron Yeldale, Dr. Yvonne Luster, and to Barbara and Raymond Cooper on the loss of their sister and sister-in-law. So my regards go to each of those particular families at their time of loss. Also, we're noting it's a significant day. Starbucks is doing their racial sensitivity training on today, and then right in the middle, on the same day that we would do the racial sensitivity training, we had some crazy remarks from Roseanne Barr. We're living in a world now where so many things are made to be normal that shouldn't be normal. And I guess we're peeling the onion off of civility, and those are the things that we have to deal with in this day, but I'll deal with that on next week. One of the things that I had said at an earlier junction was that some years back that I was speaking in schools on a regular basis. I did it for a while, and then, you know, because of business constraints and sometimes even ministry things, I got off of that, and I wanted to get back in. I said that about 2-3 weeks ago, and it just so happened someone asked me the other day to be a commencement speaker for a 5th grade class at Oak Forest Elementary School. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know. Probably we used Southwoods Baptist Church, which is right on the campus there, and probably 200-300 people. And so I did get my wish. I got back into sharing with children. Each of us in this area, those of us who have any wherewithal at all, we need to start doing whatever we can to help the children in this area. There's so many challenges for a young person growing up. And last week when I was asked to speak, I said, man, I'm 50-some years old. What am I going to say to some 5th graders? And then, you know, I wrote out something on that particular Sunday, and I had notes, and I promised the notes just totally disappeared. I don't know whether it was my wife's throwaway mood when she sees something, and if it's not hers, she just throws it away. But I couldn't find the message, so I was under pressure to write out one, and I said, I can't talk like I talk to grown people. And then something came to me, and it was dropped on me that just talk to your 5th grade self. Use the wisdom that you have as a 50-plus-year-old man and go back and talk to your 5th grade self about the lessons you learned in life. And that's what I did. And I'm going to call this a talk with my 5th grade self, or talk with my younger self. In the 5th grade many years ago, I was in Miss Mamie Richardson's homeroom at Cummings Elementary School in South Memphis. That's a long time ago. That's 40-something years ago. The late Mamie Richardson, so I shouldn't just, like, she's passed on. The principal was O'Farrell Nelson, and Eleanor Tennant was the assistant principal. All these are, I could say, late before their names. That was 40-something years ago. And so I had to share with the kids. I wanted to share the differences in our particular day. But I didn't want to just speak to the kids. I also wanted to talk to my 5th grade self. I had to go back and talk to this person, the kid on the inside here, about how things have changed. Each one of us has a little kid that needs healing, a little kid that needs soothing, a little kid that needs some attention every now and then, even though we're many years older. So I want to share that with you and the SVP crowd on tonight. And this is a talk with my 5th grade self. This is what I shared last week at Southwoods Elementary School. And I told them as I got started, I said, before I get started, I would like to share how things were when I was in the 5th grade some 40 plus years ago as compared to how things are for you in the 5th grade now. And I said, when I was in the 5th grade, we had 3 channels, 3, 5, and 13. And 4 if you wanted to count channel 10, which didn't play all day or all night. Now you all have 500 channels. When I was in the 5th grade, we had rotary dial phones where I would call home and dial 9488111. Now most 5th graders have their own cell phone. When I was in the 5th grade, Memphis even had an evening newspaper called the Memphis Press-Seminar. Nowadays, you get the news via social media or your cell phones as it happens live. When I was in the 5th grade, there was 1 car in the house. Now there's often an extra car or 2 in most driveways that no one really drives. When I was in the 5th grade, we couldn't wait to come home so we could go outside and play. Parents, I don't even have to comment on that about what kids do now. When I was in the 5th grade, we would ask a little girl that we liked for her number if we were brave enough to bear the reaction of her parents when we called. Now most 5th grade little boys just ask the little girl for her Snapchat. When I was in the 5th grade, women were all pretty and men all worked hard. And I had better not even talk about those things now. When I was in the 5th grade, an event like a graduation would have proud parents taking Polaroid pictures of the event who each knew that they had to go and get these pictures developed. When I was in the 5th grade, we fought our friends, and then we were back friends in a day's time. Now, you read it in the newspaper. When I was in the 5th grade, bad conduct would get you a spanking or a paddling at school, on a field trip, at home, at church, outside, or whatever business that you decided to cut up in. When I was in the 5th grade, we prayed as a classroom before we went to lunch. As a matter of fact, in Miss Mamie Richardson's 5th grade class, you not only had to pray, you had to sing that God is great and God is good. Lord, we thank you for our food. By thine hands must we be fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. And we had to all say amen together before we could eat the first thing. And now, you know, there's no prayer in the school. When I was in the 5th grade, I grew up in a household with nearly 10 people in it. While some of you 5th graders not only have your own room, but some of you all even have the upstairs to yourself. In the 5th grade, I had heard the 33. I had heard the 45. I had heard the 8-track tape. And we were getting used to the rage of that day, a new product called the cassette player. I purchased a new automobile several months back, and this year's models don't even come with a CD player in it. Nowadays in a new vehicle, it's all about streaming and downloads. I asked them, where am I going to play my church CDs and my sermons? And their answer was, well, if you don't download them, then you won't be playing them. So things have definitely changed, but I do believe that some principles transcend time. I told the 5th graders that they're embarking on a journey towards purpose in an age that hasn't resembled anything that we've seen before. Technology is making last year's products obsolete in seconds. While most of us older folks are longing to cling for the good old days, we have to realize that those days are gone. I'm not forecasting anything sour for the young people that were there, or the young people that may be watching, or the young people of our day. I'm just giving us as parents and loved ones a nudge to let them know that our normals are gone, our old folk ways, mores, customs, traditions, and habits too. So today I would like to take the wisdom of a 50-plus-year-old man who has had some incredible highs and some gut-wrenching lows. I would like to give back and speak not only to you, but speak to my 5th grade self. Allow me to speak to my 5th grade self. Allow me that road to healing as I look back and share with my 5th grade self. I would tell my 5th grade self, first of all, it's 10 nuggets, and I'll share them with you, and I'm through. I would tell my 5th grade self that I should have listened to the wisdom of my parents and my grandparents. Their ways may be old-fashioned, but so many times in life, I was frozen in a moment where I had to admit that my mama had it right, my daddy had it right, my grandmama, my granddaddy had it right after all. So I told the 5th graders to cherish the wisdom and the experience that the Lord has blessed you with in family. Friends will come and go, folks, but you will often find out at the end of the day is family is what you have. If I could talk to my 5th grade self, I would have abandoned the thought of being popular over being smart. I lived in a day where if you were a brilliant black young man, academic success of any kind was akin to you acting white. I would say boldly to my 5th grade self that popularity will come and go, but hard work is the thing that will sustain you in your trip to find purpose. In a day where young black boys are being targeted by the prison industrial complex, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, in his book, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, shared studies where young black men did well academically up to the 5th or 6th grade, and then their grades would start to dip, and their academic progress would start to dip. So I told the 5th grade boys and girls that don't allow this to be them. If I could talk to my 5th grade self, I would have told my 5th grade self to pay a less attention to this he say, she say, to this I heard, and to the they say. I now know that people will talk, period. I told the 5th graders to let them talk while you're working. Oh, folks, and I'm talking to my 5th grade self, but I'm letting you be a voyeur to this conversation. And I'm sorry if there is some little nugget, some little excess. It may be something to bless your life. So I told the 5th graders, let them talk while you're working. Let them talk while you're studying. Let them talk while you're winning. People will talk when you're up, and people will talk when you're down. So you got to know that the shade, the rumors, and negative things being said about you, it comes with the territory. You just keep moving towards purpose. If I could tell my 5th grade self, the 4th thing that I would say if I could talk to my 5th grade self is to never abandon my dreams. No one needed to believe in my dreams as much as I did. I told the 5th graders to not allow anyone, even family, to kill your dreams. In my day, to even aspire to be the first black president back in the 70s when I was in the 5th grade would be considered to be a fool's dream. Now we have seen that dream come to pass. People will always try to pickpocket your dreams, but never allow them to rob you of your dreams. Number 5, I would say to my 5th grade self that being the one that everyone laughs at only pays off for a few professional comedians and a few actors. I told the 5th graders that the best way, that there are better ways to grab attention than being the class clown. Excellence in any arena doesn't just demand attention, it commands it. Folks, everybody's not going to be a Richard Pryor, a Kevin Hart. And if you do, if you are that good, make sure you get paid for it. Don't clown in the classroom. Teachers out there, my number will be up soon. I'd love to share with your class. I said the 6th thing that I would tell my 5th grade self is I would tell my 5th grade self that the world could be mine, but I was foolish to think that those things would come without a struggle. I told the 5th graders that tough things will happen in their life that you will have no control over. You must find the strength to press on. You will cry some tears. Happily ever after, most times, is just for nursery rhymes. Hard times will come your way. In your life, some rain will fall, but you have to be determined to survive the storms of life. The 7th thing that I would tell my 5th grade or younger self, I would say to let things happen in their own time. If you can get there overnight, then it's probably to a place that's not worth going to. I told the 5th graders and young people that are watching throughout the Mid-South area, and some of those that are younger heart, and some of those that are old, and then some of you folks that you're feeling fine 40s, and you're fabulous 50 and sit down, sizzling 60s and sit down 70s and aching 80s and nostalgic 90s. I'm talking to you too. I told the young people that day that don't be anxious to get somewhere going. Anything great most times won't come overnight. Let me say that again and add a preach Steve with it. Anything great most times won't come overnight. Preach, Steve. I didn't say that at the school, but I said it tonight. True greatness in any field of play, it takes hours, it takes days, it takes weeks, it takes months, and even years. Keep patience as your cherished friend. The 8th thing that I would tell my 5th grade self, if I had the opportunity to go back and talk to that little joker, that little big-eyed joker right there, I would say to my 5th grade self to own my own truth and to be the person that God has made me to be. When I was in the 5th grade, we would check, play the dozens, or throw shade at each other. Because of the size of my eyes, I was called Popeye. I was called Kermit the Frog, and some would even be creative and say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. I can look back at all the wasted time that I had lamenting over something that I was born with. Folks, some of you all are big bone. You were born that way. Your nose looks like it is what it is. Own your own truth. You can't go back and change how you were born. You got to own your own truth. one of my wife's and I's best friends, and I love them, and I know they love me, but they told me this, and they were going down a litmus list of things that I couldn't do. They said, Steve, you can't cook. Steve, you don't fix things. And then they named a whole lot of things that I couldn't do. So I acknowledged that all those things that I couldn't do, but then I told them what I could do. I told them, if you give me some paper and a pen or a microphone, and you will see what God sent me to this earth for. I told the fifth graders to focus on their strengths. Young people, focus on your strengths and not on your detractions. Each of us has some area that's a challenge for us, so why would we give more time to that than we would give to our strengths? I would now go back and tell those jokers who once had me crying because they were talking about my big old eyes. And I would say that God gave me these big old eyes so I can see what you jokers are doing. Spend more time discovering who you are and less time discovering who you're not. The ninth thing that I would say to my good old fifth grade self was that on so many occasions, my worst enemy was in me. I would try to avert all of my bad decisions and bad calls and my mistakes, my blunders and my mishaps. I told the fifth graders that we will all at times make bad decisions. It's a human thing. However, it has to be your job to limit yourself to as few bad decisions as possible. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If it doesn't sound right, don't do it. If it challenges your conscience, then don't do it. If your mama was there and you wouldn't do it, don't do it. If your preacher was there and would you do it, don't do it. So we will all make bad decisions, but don't limit your life by replaying of bad decisions over and over again. Your ability to limit your bad decisions and then your ability to develop the strength to bounce back from bad decisions that you do make will be critical to your trip towards success. And then I had a message for the teachers. I said, teachers, don't just be nice to your A and B students who might come back and teach at the school, but also be nice to the C, D, and F students who might come back and finance the school. Light bulbs go off at different times, folks. Just because somebody's setting the world on fire right now doesn't, or somebody's way behind, doesn't mean that they're gonna catch up one day. How many times have we seen that old ugly duckling that nobody wanted to talk to, and they turned into a swan? But the ugly duckling, remember how you treated them when they were the ugly duckling. Don't forget that. So I'm telling you that light bulbs go off at different times. Who knows who will be great in any room? It may not be the person that you expected. Everyone in every class may not be destined for a college campus, but that doesn't mean that success would not come their way. And the 10th and final thing that I would say to my good old fifth grade self, I would tell my fifth grade self that I would be crazy to think that I could make it to anywhere meaningful without God. And I had to say God because, you know, with the church and state separation thing, and I just said, well, if y'all upset, y'all got upset. Y'all not paying. I'm okay. I stayed in decorum, but it's the truth. Folks, if I could look back at all the things and trials and tribulations and things that I thought I could make it on my own because I had a little bit of wherewithal and I had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, folks, things happen in life that you have no control over. You can't make it without God. You got to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness in Matthew 6:33. And it said that all these things shall be added unto you. And I didn't say it last week, but I'm sure going to say it because it's my show and I'm paying for it. Child of God, I'm talking to you tonight. I'm going beneath your outer veneer and I'm going to on the inside and talk to the child that lives within. That so many children, some of us still have pains from our childhood about dashed dreams and reduced aspiration and ambition. And I'm coming here not to turn the clock back, but I do believe that God can wind the clock back up again. Child of God, my brother and my sister, I was talking to my 5th grade self, and now I got a little excited. Now I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to God. Is intrinsically had me come on tonight and take your way back to test your memory banks. But I want you to forget those things which are behind. Learn the lessons and move on. Child of God, God is putting his hands upon you on tonight. Our children are not to be prey for the enemy. Our children are not to be. And I said to the school, I said, should we be foolhardy? Because it's a mixed crowd. Every child wasn't black. There was multiracial. But I said, we are foolhardy to tell 5th graders as if and keep them blind about, I'm thinking now that we even need to teach kids how to deal with the police, how to deal with a traffic stop. Folks, it doesn't matter if you have a 4.9 GPA. If you don't know how to deal with the popo, it can be a bad day for you. When I get pulled over, I get a benefit because I have a necktie on most times, so that gets me a little bit more respect. However, let me tell you, when I'm pulled over by the popo, I ain't got to reach for nothing. In one hand, I got my driver's license. In the other hand, I got my insurance card. The light is on inside the car, so I'm not going to have them nervous about anything. Folks, we got to be real and teach our kids about the evils of our day. We can put our head in the sand, and we've done that for so long, and that's why we're reaping what we're reaping in this day. Folks, I hope that you enjoyed traveling with me to go back and heal my old 5th grade self, where I used to pull the girl's hair and do so many things. But folks, look, no matter how you started, your finish still can be great. And I'm telling you, folks, whatever hardships, whatever bad things that you've dealt with in your past, greatness can still be yours. Be blessed, SVP. I speak this word prophetically over your life. I'm speaking prosperity. I see you breaking out on the left and the right. I see prosperity being yours. Our prosperity will be your personal imprint. Excellence will be written across your person. And I'll see you on next week. Be blessed. God bless you.